What if I told you that the ultimate symbol of hip-hop wealth wasn't a reward for success, but a desperate, multi-million-dollar bribe to buy a son's silence? Brace yourselves, because what you're about to hear is going to completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the Harris family dynasty. Word on the street is that Atlanta rap legend T.I. just dropped a jaw-dropping $60 million on a high-tech, bulletproof sky mansion for his son, King Harris. But this isn't a sweet father-son gift. Oh no. Leaked reports and absolutely unhinged industry rumors suggest that T.I. was backed into a corner, forced to hand over the keys to this fortress just to stop King from leaking top-secret family financials and explosive hood scandals that could destroy the entire hustle gang empire overnight. And if that wasn't crazy enough, wait until you hear what 50 Cent had to say about it. 50 hopped on Instagram Live and delivered a ruthless, humiliating takedown that has officially turned T.I.'s desperate power move into the biggest joke in the music industry. You are not going to believe the dark reality behind these penthouse doors. Stay locked in, because if you click off now, you're going to miss the most sinister twist of this entire scandal. To truly understand how a hardened, legendary rap mogul gets violently extorted by his own blood for a $60 million piece of real estate, we have to look back at the ticking time bomb that is the Harris family dynasty. For years, T.I. sold us a masterpiece of a lie. Through reality television and carefully curated social media posts, he built the flawless illusion of the ultimate hip-hop family. He was the strict, articulate patriarch, successfully transitioning from the gritty trap houses of Atlanta to the shiny boardrooms of Hollywood. He was supposed to be untouchable. But King Harris wasn't interested in playing the polished Hollywood prince. From day one, King was the crack in the crown. We all remember the explosive, highly embarrassing public arguments. Millions of people watched live on social media as King aggressively screamed at his parents, violently rejecting the silver spoon narrative and desperately claiming he had real ties to the trenches. T.I. physically grabbed him, yelling that he was embarrassing the family brand. It was uncomfortable, it was raw, and it was a massive, ugly fracture in the hustle gang facade. T.I. thought he was dealing with a rebellious teenager going through a phase. He was dead wrong. What the cameras didn't capture, and what T.I. completely failed to realize, was the terrifying reality unfolding off-screen. King wasn't just acting out for street credibility. He was actively observing. He was sitting in the background of studio sessions, riding in the back of SUVs during highly sensitive business calls, and quietly gathering leverage. Think about it for a second. When you grow up inside a multi-million-dollar empire, you see where the bodies are buried. And King allegedly collected the shovels. Deep industry insiders have whispered for years about the dark side of T.I.'s transition into Hollywood. We are talking about deep, heavily buried family secrets. Unreported offshore accounts, incredibly sketchy backdoor label contracts, hush money payouts, and unresolved, dangerous hood politics that T.I. spent decades trying to sweep under the rug. T.I. was desperate to maintain his squeaky clean actor and stand-up comedian image, but King held the dirt that could permanently destroy it. As King started making his own noise in the industry, dropping music and getting into highly publicized, reckless street altercations, T.I. realized he was rapidly losing his grip. Every time T.I. tried to pull rank, publicly discipline him, or control the narrative, King pushed back 10 times harder. It devolved into a vicious, toxic game of chicken. T.I. demanded a respectful heir. King demanded absolute power. And power is exactly what he seized. According to a highly placed source close to the family camp, the breaking point happened exactly 3 months ago. The rumor is that King marched directly into his father's private, secure home office, locked the mahogany door behind him, and dropped a thick, physical binder right onto the desk. A binder packed to the brim with devastating financial statements, unreleased, highly incriminating audio recordings, and undeniable proof of old street affiliations. Stuff that, if leaked to the blogs or the feds, would instantly vaporize T.I.'s mainstream television contracts and completely dismantle the hustle gang empire. It was a cold, calculated, sociopathic power move. The message King delivered was chillingly clear. Stop treating me like a child. Stop trying to publicly humiliate me and give me exactly what I want, or the entire world finds out who the real Clifford Harris is. Imagine the sheer, suffocating panic washing over T.I. in that exact moment. The man who built his entire legacy on being the undisputed, fearless king of the South was suddenly paralyzed, held completely hostage by his own creation. He couldn't fight back. He couldn't publicly disown him without triggering a catastrophic leak. And he definitely couldn't let that binder see the light of day. So, what does a desperate, cornered multimillionaire do when his entire life's work is seconds away from burning to the ground? He buys silence. He needed the most extravagant, ridiculous, blinding distraction money could possibly buy to pacify the monster he raised. He had to secure an absolute fortress to keep his son quiet and separated from the rest of the family. But as you are about to see, handing over the keys to a $60 million sky mansion wasn't a peace treaty. It was the catastrophic beginning of an all-out war. And the exact details of what this penthouse actually features and what happened the day King moved in will make your blood run absolutely cold. Let me paint a vivid picture of this $60 million penthouse for you, because calling it an apartment or even a mansion is an absolute insult to architecture. Located in the most exclusive, ultra-private, heavily guarded high-rise in the absolute heart of downtown Atlanta, this sky mansion occupies the top 3 floors of the building. We are talking about 15,000 square feet of pure, weaponized luxury. It features floor-to-ceiling bulletproof glass that can withstand military-grade ballistics. It has a private, biometric elevator that requires a retinal scan to access the top floors. It boasts a 12-car showcase garage on the ground level with a private, concealed vehicle lift, and a rooftop infinity pool that literally overlooks the entire Atlanta skyline. But here is where it gets terrifying. Deep inside the master bedroom, there is a custom-built, steel-reinforced panic room lined with acoustic dampening technology, fully equipped with an untraceable satellite communication system and a private server room designed to wipe data remotely at the push of a button. Are you grasping the reality of this? This isn't a bachelor pad for a 21-year-old rapper trying to live his best life. This is a supervillain's lair. This is a paranoid compound built for someone who expects to be hunted down. When the real estate paperwork mysteriously leaked to a dark web celebrity gossip forum last Friday, the internet was completely paralyzed with confusion. Why in the world would T.I., a man known for his strict, old-school parenting, drop $60 million on a kid who has repeatedly and publicly humiliated him? The math simply wasn't matching. Fans were defending T.I., claiming it was just an investment property. But then, the absolute unthinkable happened. At exactly 11 p.m. on a Friday night, an anonymous burner account on X, formerly known as Twitter under the name ATL_Ghost, dropped a distorted 45-second audio recording of a phone call. And it changed hip-hop history forever. The audio is raw, static-heavy, but undeniably authentic. You can hear a voice that sounds identically, terrifyingly like T.I. breathing heavily into the receiver, his voice trembling with a mix of blinding rage and sheer panic. He is screaming at someone who sounds like a high-powered crisis management lawyer. "Man, I don't care what it takes. Just clear the damn funds," the voice snaps, echoing through the phone. "I don't care if we gotta liquidate the publishing rights right now. If that boy drops that drive on the timeline, the feds are immediately reopening the 2007 weapons case, and the network is pulling the entire news show by morning. Put the deed in his LLC and make sure the NDA is ironclad. He wants the skybox? Give him the damn skybox before he burns this whole family to the ground." Boom. The internet completely flatlined. Twitter Spaces crashed. The Shade Room's comment section was in absolute shambles. This wasn't a father rewarding a successful son. This was a hostage negotiation caught on tape. The realization hit the culture like a runaway freight train. King Harris had actively, aggressively blackmailed the king of the South. The $60 million penthouse was nothing but a massive pile of hush money. The bulletproof glass wasn't installed to protect King from the dangerous streets of Atlanta. It was installed to protect the blackmail files from T.I.'s own goons. The biometric locks were put in place, so T.I. couldn't casually walk in while King was sleeping and seize the hard drives holding the evidence. King had officially out-hustled the ultimate hustler, weaponizing his father's wealth against him. But if you think that audio leak was the peak of the drama, you need to brace yourself, because the physical confrontation that happened next is the most humiliating thing a father could ever experience. The morning after the audio leaked, T.I. realized the entire world knew he had been played. Consumed by anger and desperation, he pulled up to the luxury high-rise, flanked by 4 massive bodyguards. He stormed into the pristine, marble-floored lobby, marching directly to the front desk, and aggressively demanded the master override key to the penthouse. The head concierge, visibly sweating and shaking, typed King's name into the building's security system. The screen flashed bright red. The concierge slowly looked up at the legendary rap mogul and had to deliver the most soul-crushing news of T.I.'s entire life. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Harris," the concierge stammered, his voice cracking. "But you are officially on the building's permanent ban list. King has explicitly revoked your access. If you so much as step a foot inside that elevator, the biometric system will lock the doors, trap you inside, and automatically dispatch the Atlanta Police Department for trespassing." Imagine being T.I. in that exact moment. You just liquidated your massive assets, drained $60 million of your hard-earned fortune to buy this architectural masterpiece for your son, and the absolute moment the ink dries on the deed, your own flesh and blood legally bans you from the premises. He was literally locked out of his own $60 million investment in front of his own security team and a lobby full of wealthy strangers. King took the money, took the fortress, and slammed the heavy glass door right in his father's face. But wait. Do not look away, because this is the twist that is going to make your stomach physically drop. As T.I. stood in the lobby, hyperventilating from the disrespect, he glanced over at the concierge's live security monitor, which showed a feed of the penthouse living room. He didn't just see his son King sitting on the $100,000 Italian leather sofa laughing. He saw 3 other men sitting in the room with him, men whose faces made T.I.'s blood run freezing cold. These weren't King's teenage friends. These were 3 highly notorious, deeply connected street figures that T.I. has had an active, dangerous, blood feud beef with since 2004. King didn't just lock his father out. He used his father's $60 million to build an impenetrable safe house and then handed the keys directly to his father's biggest, most dangerous mortal enemies, officially crowning them his new protection detail. The son didn't just rebel. He funded and sheltered the exact people who want to see T.I. destroyed. And as T.I. stumbled out of the lobby, completely defeated, he had no idea that a certain legendary rapper from New York was already screen recording the entire scandal, preparing to unleash a social media massacre that would humiliate T.I. on a global scale. Within hours of the leaked audio and the humiliating lobby ban rumor hitting the blogs, the internet was already in a state of absolute chaos. But when there is blood in the water, a certain New York rap legend always smells it. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson activated his Instagram account, and you already know, when 50 Cent goes live, careers get permanently destroyed. 50 sat in his massive leather chair, puffing on a thick cigar, laughing so hard he was physically choking and wiping tears from his eyes. He looked directly into the camera with that sinister, trademark grin and unleashed a tirade that will go down as one of the most ruthless moments in hip-hop history. Look at this. Look at the so-called King of the South. 50 cackled, his voice booming through the speakers of 4 million live viewers. This fool is out here doing stand-up comedy, but the biggest joke is his own damn life. You let your 21-year-old kid stick you up for 60 M's? A penthouse? Man, my son Marquis tried to act up. I cut his allowance and blocked his number. Tip out here buying bulletproof glass for a kid with a pacifier. He got extorted by a toddler in a Cybertruck. 50 didn't stop there. He started posting side-by-side photos of King's new luxury penthouse and T.I. looking incredibly stressed out in a courtroom. He captioned it, "When your expeditiously vocabulary can't save you from a family shakedown. Hashtag get the strap, hashtag extortion hustle." The disrespect was astronomical. 50 officially validated the rumors, turning a dark, highly sensitive family secret into a global spectacle. Other celebrities immediately started chiming in, smelling the weakness in the hustle gang empire. Rick Ross posted a cryptic video on his Instagram story, holding a glass of Belair and chuckling. Real bosses don't negotiate with terrorists, even if they share your last name. The entire rap industry was watching T.I.'s legacy burn, and nobody was throwing water on the fire. Social media timelines turned into a complete war zone. Fake Twitter threads were generating millions of impressions per hour. One viral tweet read, "T.I. really spent 20 years telling us how gangster he is, just to get legally robbed by a kid who grew up on reality TV. The streets are completely finished." Another user wrote, "King didn't just take his dad's money. He took his manhood." T.I. can never rap about being a boss ever again. But as the world was laughing at 50 Cent's ruthless commentary and sharing brutal memes, a second, infinitely more terrifying twist dropped that instantly wiped the smiles off everyone's faces. While everyone was entirely focused on the $60 million price tag of the Sky Mansion, an underground investigative financial blog decided to dig into the actual real estate paperwork. They discovered a devastating paper trail that proved this wasn't just an extortion plot. It was the greatest financial heist in hip-hop history. The LLC that King used to sign for the penthouse, ironically named Silver Spoon Holdings, didn't just own the physical real estate. Embedded deep within the massive stack of transfer documents, buried under thick layers of complex legal jargon, was a highly concealed clause. In his desperate, blinding panic to clear the $60 million and silence his son before the blackmail files leaked, T.I. had hastily signed off on a massive asset transfer without letting his lawyers fully vet the shell company. That clause gave Silver Spoon Holdings a 51% controlling stake in the master recording rights to T.I.'s first 3 iconic, multi-platinum albums. Read that again. Let that sink in. King didn't just extort his dad for a house. He slipped a lethal poison pill into the contract. King Harris now owned the majority rights to trap music, urban legend, and King. The son had literally stolen the crown off his father's head. T.I. no longer owned the music that built his legendary status. King could pull the albums from Apple Music and Spotify, license them to embarrassing fast food commercials, or sell them to the highest bidder just to spite his father. The $60 million penthouse wasn't the endgame. It was a distraction. It was the shiny object King used to blind his father, while he completely robbed him blind in the boardroom. The level of psychological manipulation was downright sociopathic. A 21-year-old kid had just executed a corporate takeover against his own father. The industry went from laughing to being in a state of sheer, unadulterated panic. If T.I., a veteran mogul with decades of experience, could be finessed out of his life's work by his own kid, absolutely nobody was safe. Label executives were reportedly holding emergency midnight meetings, triple-checking their own family trusts and contracts. Behind the scenes, sources claimed that T.I. had completely gone off the grid. He wasn't answering frantic calls from his management. He immediately canceled his upcoming comedy tour dates, and his legal team was scrambling in absolute chaos, trying to find a way to void the contract based on duress and extreme extortion. But King was living his absolute best life. He posted a 10-second Instagram story from his new rooftop infinity pool, sipping a drink, looking directly into the camera with dead eyes. He didn't say a single word. He just smirked, and in the background, he was loudly playing his dad's classic hit, Bring 'Em Out. The sheer audacity was chilling. It was the ultimate, unforgivable middle finger to his father, and the entire world watching. He had the $60 million penthouse, he had the legendary masters, and he still held the blackmail leverage. The game was completely over. King had won. Or so everyone thought. Because while King was busy celebrating his hostile takeover, he failed to notice something deeply wrong with the penthouse itself. The biometric locks, the panic room, and the bulletproof glass? They weren't built by T.I. And they weren't built to keep people out. They were built to lock someone in. The internet practically shattered into a million pieces. From the high-end boardrooms of music executives in Los Angeles to the roughest blocks of South Atlanta, the Harris heist completely dominated the culture. The hashtag Silver Spoon Holdings shot up to the #1 trending topic globally on social media platforms, racking up over 45 million impressions in less than 24 hours. YouTube commentary channels, financial analysts on mainstream television networks, and neighborhood live streams were all dissecting the exact same question. How did a 21-year-old kid legally rob the king of the South? The public reaction was violently divided, creating a digital war zone between generations. Millions of longtime T.I. fans were deeply sickened, viewing King's calculated corporate takeover as an unforgivable betrayal of blood. Viral fan tweets flooded the timelines. King Harris is the biggest snake in hip-hop history. Your father gave you a life of absolute luxury, and you stabbed him in the back for his life's work. This is demonic behavior. Another prominent commentator wrote, T.I. spent decades building the hustle gang legacy from the mud. To see it dismantled by his own son on a petty blackmail scheme makes me sick. He needs to disown that boy immediately. But then, a massive, unyielding wave of younger fans, street bloggers, and anti-establishment critics started treating King like an absolute folk hero. To them, he wasn't a villain. He was a corporate mastermind who beat a notoriously controlling, strict father at his own game. TikTok edits of King walking through his $60 million penthouse, set to the beat of heavy trap music, generated tens of millions of views. Supporters flooded the comment sections, aggressively defending the move. Business is business. T.I. always talked about being a grand master of the game. Well, his son just graduated with honors. If you don't secure your assets, your own blood will slide on you. Inside the music industry, the vibe wasn't fascination. It was pure, unadulterated panic. Major hip-hop moguls and veteran label executives were reportedly trembling behind closed doors. If T.I., a seasoned veteran who survived federal cases and corporate sharks, could be utterly blindsided by his own son, then no legacy contract was safe. Rumors spread like wildfire that top-tier artists were calling emergency meetings with their estate lawyers, demanding that their children be permanently stripped of any legal proximity to their music catalogs. Adding absolute fuel to the raging fire, news networks began running segments analyzing the economic impact of King owning T.I.'s most iconic masters, trap music, urban legend, and King. Financial experts estimated that King could easily bleed T.I.'s residual estate dry by withholding streaming permissions or licensing those legendary street anthems to embarrassing, low-tier commercial brands just out of spite. Yet throughout the entire media storm, T.I. remained completely ghost. His official accounts went entirely dark, his public relations team issued a tense no comment, and sources claimed he was locked away in an undisclosed location, completely humiliated and shattered by the betrayal. The silence from the hustle gang camp was deafening. It was the absolute silence of an empire that had just lost its crown. But as the public continued to tear itself apart debating who won the war, the feds were quietly preparing to drop a bomb that would make the public's opinion entirely irrelevant. Just when the entire world had finally accepted that a 21-year-old kid had pulled off the most ruthless corporate takeover in hip-hop history, the story took a violently unexpected, blood-curdling turn. Everyone thought King had checkmated his father. They thought T.I. was defeated, hiding in shame after losing his legendary masters and his dignity. But remember exactly who we are talking about here. T.I. didn't earn the title King of the South by being stupid or weak. He is a master strategist. He is a survivor. And what he did next is so incredibly dark, so unbelievably sinister. It feels like a script straight out of a Hollywood mafia movie. Late Thursday night, exactly at 2 a.m., an encrypted, untraceable email was blasted out to every major hip-hop publication, street blogger, and investigative journalist in the country. The subject line was chillingly brief: "The penthouse is a prison." Attached to this email wasn't just a rumor. It was the unredacted, true financial history of the $60 million high-rise. And it revealed a truth so terrifying, it completely flipped the entire narrative upside down in a matter of seconds. It turns out, this ultra-exclusive Sky Mansion wasn't just some random piece of luxury real estate bought on the open market. The original developer and silent owner of the penthouse was a notoriously dangerous, heavily indicted offshore billionaire. A man who T.I. had allegedly been deeply, dangerously indebted to from a massively botched underground real estate investment back in 2018. The leaked documents revealed the ultimate, inescapable trap. T.I. didn't drop $60 million in clean cash to buy the penthouse. He acquired it by assuming the debt, and by eagerly demanding the deed be placed in his own LLC, Silver Spoon Holdings. King hadn't just taken ownership of the house. He had legally, blindly assumed a $60 million, highly toxic, incredibly lethal financial liability. Let this sink in and wrap your mind around the sheer genius of this betrayal. T.I. didn't get finessed out of his masters because he was panicking. It was a calculated, cold-blooded sacrifice. By letting King take control of the LLC, T.I. legally washed his hands of a deadly debt. He let his arrogant, power-hungry son think he had won the war, knowing full well he was handing him a ticking time bomb. And all those insane security features we talked about, the biometric locks, the military-grade bulletproof glass, the steel-reinforced panic room, they weren't built to keep King safe from the streets. They were built because the previous owner knew exactly what kind of ruthless people and federal agents were eventually coming to collect. King didn't steal the crown. T.I. deliberately placed a cursed, blood-soaked crown on his head and quietly stepped out of the blast radius. The absolute horror of the situation set in just hours ago. A frantic, shaky video of King leaked online, supposedly recorded from a burner phone inside the penthouse. He is pacing across the marble floors, sweating profusely, looking absolutely terrified as he yells at someone off camera. They froze all the accounts. The feds just seized the entire ground floor garage. What the hell did he set me up for? The hunter has officially become the hunted. T.I. literally sacrificed his own flesh and blood to legally escape a lethal situation. As we speak, federal agents are reportedly surrounding the perimeter of the luxury high-rise, and King is physically trapped inside a $60 million glass cage of his own making. The ultimate question now is, will King leak the blackmail files and pull the trigger, taking his father down to hell with him? Or will T.I. sit back and watch his son go down in flames? This family war has just escalated to a literal life-or-death chess match, and the next move is going to break the internet. I told y'all this was the absolute craziest story in hip-hop right now, and the nightmare is just beginning. Was T.I. an evil genius for trapping his own son in a $60 million federal cage? Or did he cross the ultimate line by sacrificing his own blood? What is King going to do now that the feds are literally at his bulletproof door? I need to hear from you immediately. Are you Team T.I. the mastermind or Team King? Drop your answers in the comments right now. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications because we are tracking the feds' movement. The next update will feature the leaked footage from inside the raid. You do not want to miss this. Peace.